Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to Brad Tragic, and I haven't uploaded the video in a couple days. Just a lot of crap going on, my personal life, things like that. There's always things going on, and just a lot of things coming to light with. Kind of weird, and I stepped into a thing of light. Anyways, a lot of things come to fruition. I already met with the wife this morning, but it's just a lot of personal stuff coming up. But this is not what this is. This is a movie review, so let's get right into that. First, move my cards out of the way. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the movie 31. Yes, I know you want to know kind of what I thought about it. If you've seen it, you want it, or if you haven't seen it, you kind of wonder like, what's it about? Because it really doesn't give you a very good synopsis. Kind of, really. But the ultimate thing that you need to know is that this is a Rob Zombie film. Sherry Moon, is it Sherry Moon? Is that what it is? I think it's Sherry Moon. Sherry Moon is in it, his wife, and it. I think she's still his wife. I wouldn't say. Anyways, it's kind of, if you kind of, after you see the movie and how it ends and everything like that, you're like, yeah, that was a Rob Zombie movie. And you understand it's a Rob Zombie movie. So if you're a fan of House of Thousands of Corpses, and if you're a fan of Devil's Rejects, you'll definitely like 31. Does it live up to either of those movies? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you had a problem with one of those movies, most likely House of Thousand Corpses, because I think a lot of people could possibly say that if you're not a huge fan of Rob Zombie and you don't truly get into the movie, you could have a problem enjoying it, I think. If you're not a huge fan of him and, liking him getting to the movies and understanding that, he has a huge love of the horror genre. I think there's some things that you could take away from House of Thousand Corpses and go, this is not that great. But I like it. I like House of Thousand Corpses. I like it for what it is. Here's the problem with 31. 31 has little aspects of House of Thousand Corpses that made it kind of bland, I think. Because there's certain things that just didn't make sense, and they didn't explain it well enough. That was my problem with this movie. So if I was going to put it in those realm of movies, it would probably be below House of Thousand Corpses. Because a lot of people, I think, would agree Devil's Rejects is way better than House of Thousand Corpses. But some people might disagree with that. So if anything, this 31 movie is definitely at the bottom of the rung of those three movies. Because I definitely do see it fitting into that role, into these kind of movies. And I kind of wondered if they were going to kind of push that this was part of that trilogy, and I kind of wonder if that's what they kind of wanted to instill, that this was kind of like a prequel, but I don't think that's what they were trying to do. But I mean, it would make sense how the movie ended if this was part of, the prequel of that trilogy of movies. But I don't think I've seen any. I haven't read anywhere anything about 31. So maybe somebody tells me down below if it's supposed to be a prequel, or if it's supposed to be, just maybe. Just something completely different. But I'm thinking their names are different in the movie and everything, but that doesn't really mean any difference because if you watch House of the Corpses, I don't think she always goes by, I think, some kind of character name. So I don't think it would really matter. But the way the movie ends, you just kind of wonder if this was part of that or whatever. But it's basically about this group of people. I think they have like a miniature circus or whatever that they take on the road, and it's about that. And basically what happens is they get abducted by these people. And they don't know who they are. It just happens like really quickly in the movie. It goes probably about half an hour into the movie. And then something happens and they get abducted. Like I said, I'm not trying to give away everything, but I have to give away something to talk about the movie. But when that happens, it was interesting the way they did it, but they still didn't answer some of the questions about where some of the other people went. I think they got killed, but I don't know. Because some of the characters kind of disappeared and you didn't see them again. So, actually it was this one, the driver. The driver, I think he got killed, but I don't know. I didn't see that. And I did not fall asleep during this movie. I watched it in two parts in the same day, so I got it pretty fluid in my mind. But all in all, I thought it was a decent movie. I mean, would I buy it and own it? Oh, here's the thing. I think I probably would watch it again. I think that being a fan of The Devil's Rejects and House of Dead Corpses, which I think I have House of Dead Corpses, I just don't have The Devil's Rejects yet. I need to get that. I need to get Devil's Rejects. But I think that I would pick this up. And this movie is, I think it's like $7.88 on Blu-ray or something like that. I don't think it's super expensive. Of course, there's a cop. There's a cop out there. He's gonna get me. He's gonna get me. Yeah. But yeah, it was just the movie is really good, and I think that there's aspects, like I said, there's aspects of it those kind of like House of Thousand Corpses, like the dull moments, because sometimes they just went into something, and then there would be stagnant moments where they're just like talking and talking about like stupid stuff that makes no sense, or it's just like dumb talking that just I don't know how to explain it. It's like the dialogue. It's not like the dialogue in House of Sons of Corpses. Honestly, you know what? This is kind of what it is. It's kind of like the dull moments in House of Sons of Corpses. When I know a lot of people are like, well, what are the dull moments in House of Sons of Corpses? Well, kind of near the end, where House of Sons of Corpses, where they meet the guy that they talk about throughout the whole entire movie. I can't even remember the dude's name. He's supposedly like a mythical creature, and he has like a bunch of arms. I think it was Dr. Satan, I think. But they meet at the end of the movie, and it's kind of this way it ended. It kind of ended kind of clunky. How Time of the Corpses does. It kind of ends kind of weird. But the way that ends, and then you kind of see the repercussions at the end of that movie, and it leads into Devil's Rejects. But the dialogue that is in Devil's Rejects, that sometimes you're like, why are they talking about this? Like meaningless stuff and things like that. Like that kind of fits into 31 as well. So kind of the two aspects that you didn't like of both movies are kind of put into this movie, where that kind of like put me off sometimes, where they'll talking about stupid stuff. Like they have a scene where he's talking about like opening up like a gorilla land or something in the beginning of the movie. I'm like, why are we? I understand we're trying to put this character together, but nowhere in the middle of the movie does it put that this guy is crazy. So at the end of the movie, I'm looking back and I'm like, well, why did they even leave that in the movie? Because if he was going to be like a crazy son of a bitch, like halfway through the movie, or he'd just break and he would be like just go insane and just go after the people that were trying to hunt them in the movie in certain parts, like then he would have just had him break and just get killed in a stupid way. But he acted actually pretty calm throughout the movie. So I'm like, what was the point of that, in acting like he was like a business guy and wanted to start his own like guerrilla kind of fair, sort of. So kind of weird. That's what kind of my downside to 31 was. But all in all, Sherry Moon was awesome. Some of the actors, was... And here's the thing about Rob Zombie movies. It's the fact that his movies are sort of cheesy in a way, but they kind of harken back to like early 90s horror, but with a little bit of 80s mixed in, and also some 70s mixed in. So it's kind of like the 70s, 80s, and 90s horrors, like the best out of all that kind of thrown in there. And I don't know if I want to say 90s, probably a lot of 70s and 80s, but the horror genre is just really, really there. And I think, like, if you want to say anything from the 2000s, it's the B movie kind of aspect that he kind of throws in from there. So he kind of throws all these kind of, influences from the horror genre. You can just tell that he's a fan, and he tries to grab something from everything. But there is a couple parts in the movie where some of the people are having nightmares, and it kind of makes you think that some of the people are zombies, which they're not. They're not zombies, or supposedly they're not zombies, but they don't really show anything about that. And I don't know if that was like a road he was going to go down, and then he ended up changing it in mid script and just saying, no, that's not what's going to be about. It's just going to be about these people that kill people. And when I say that, you're not really understanding what I'm saying. You got to see the movie, because I'm trying not to give things away. That's the whole point. I'm trying not to give things away, but. 31, like I said, it don't really give you much. All it says is a band of carnival misfits I think it says gets taken uh, by by a group, terrorized by some group of something. It says in the summary, and that's really all it says. And on the front, really all you get is Sherry Moon, and you get some like random faces, but the faces aren't really no one you would know. I will say this: I think a couple of the actors I think I know from a couple things, but I don't remember what they were in. So maybe they were in like Devil's Rejects, or maybe they were in House of Thousand Corpses and had like a minor role. And at the end of the movie, you'll actually know one of the villains. But the entire the movie, during the movie, he's got this makeup on, so you don't know who he is, and you won't know until the end of the movie until he takes off his makeup. Now, this ain't like a really dramatic scene. This has nothing to do with any kill scenes whatsoever. It's people that there's like a game going on. I will say that there's a game going on. It's not Saw, not anywhere near that. It's more like a slasher kind of thing. But he's in this makeup, and when he takes his makeup off at the end, you're like, oh crap, it was that guy. Now I don't know if he was in the whole entire movie or Rob Zombie just had him to be there at the end, but it was some guy that you know. He has gray hair. He's a villain. He's always a villain. He plays villain all the time. People talk about him actually a lot recently. And he's in 31. So yeah, 31, pretty good movie. It's available on Tubi TV, Tubi TV, however you say, Tubi, TV, whatever. You can check it out on there. It's really cool. Like I checked out recently that app on my PS3, which I'm getting ready to get rid of that. Get another streaming device. I'm kind of looking into different things right now. But it was on WTV, and there was a lot of cool movies on there. I mean, there's like See No Evil 1 and 2 with Kane in it, and there's what was the other one? Oh, Clifford. I watched that on there, and I watched what was the other one I watched on there? Oh, Super Size Me, and that was just recently on I think Hulu, and I think they lost the license, so I went to WTV, so they had the license. So it's kind of cool to look at all these different things and kind of follow the licenses as they go, so you kind of know and understand. Because some movies, I think, can get more than one license. But some movies, I think, they don't let the license get spread thin, because that means the movie pretty much becomes worthless when it comes to that point. And I think Super Size Me is one of those movies where they don't really care anymore. They probably made their money back and then some on that movie, I'm assuming. And they probably just make whatever from the license now. They probably don't really care about what they make from it now. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the review as I walk into the light. Like I said, the movie was pretty good. It was interesting. It wasn't a bad movie, I don't think. It wasn't a great movie either. It was kind of an average movie. It's a Rob Zombie movie. If you're a fan of Rob Zombie's work, you'll probably like it. Like I said, I kind of watched it in two parts, and I don't think it ruined the viewing experience or whatever from it, but I think it would have been better if I would have been able to watch it, because I think I watched the first half. I know I watched the first half in the dark, kind of quietly, when people were asleep. My wife was asleep in the living room, so I had to kind of keep the volume down a little bit, and I had the subtitles on, and I watched it like that, and it wasn't that bad really. But then when I watched the second half, I thought it was kind of subpar. I think a lot of the good stuff is at the beginning, because it's a lot of Sherry Moon's character, like what she did in House of Corpses. She kind of does a little bit of that in it, so it kind of entertained me. So, like I said, if you're a fan of those two movies, most likely you're going to like this movie, or you'll have a little bit of love for it. But if you didn't like those movies at all, I would just stay clear at 31, because you're probably not going to like it. Because it's a lot of that kind of horror, and I think Rob Zombie was given probably a lot of freedom to do what he wanted to do, and kind of to make a movie that was similar to those two movies. So that being said, I can't talk. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Let me know if you've seen the movie. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought about the movie. If not, go check it out. Come back, tell me what you thought about it. As always, keep rocking, keep on watching movies. Later, guys.